Late night emergency meeting. Sorry for the sporadic timing. Late night meeting, gang. Late night meeting. How you guys doing? How are you guys doing? What's good, gang? I apologize for the emergency abruptness. No warning. That's on me. My bad, gang. How you guys feeling? Y'all week? Are you having a good week? Let me know if I sound okay so we can start the show. I was going to do so. The title of this video is They Think I'm a Hater. The title of the video is They Think I'm a Hater. And the reason I'm naming it that, right? Toy, how you doing? What's good? Miss Tiny, Quickie Sticky, Andy, Pandy Pie, Amani, listen, Ghost Gaming. I salute you guys for jumping ahead on short notice. I just want to get this off my chest. Tasha Shea, Flashburnt, Regal, Mike Lyons, listen. We gonna have one. We gonna have a time. TZ Red. I'm just checking in with the chat. Ms. Hummus, what's good? Listen. Jack Dance, listen. I got something I want to talk about. And the reason I want to talk about this, I've been seeing this building up for a couple days, at least since the Iceman album dropped, right? Title of this video, it was They Think I'm a Drake Hater, but it really is not. It's deeper than that. It's not just Drake. But we're going to get to that. Cups up, salute. Listen, salute. Take a cheers with me. What's going on, gang, is this. But basically, I'm hearing a lot of noise. I've been feeling a lot of noise. It's been crazy for the last, it's even been longer than since the Iceman dropped. It's been a while coming, gang, and it's starting to look like things are starting to shake up over here in Twitter, in YouTube land, and Twitter land, and or social media land, right? Andy Pandy said, "You hated on my beloved J. Cole." We're gonna throw him in the mix too. They think I'm a hater, gang. We're gonna throw J. Cole in the mix too. I've been seeing this coming for a while, and if you look at my thumbnail, it says criticism is not hate. And I think, I'm just gonna be honest, I think 2026, when we came into this year, and they gave Kanye West them shows in Mexico, and he sold them out real quick, I was like, it was still 2025, and he sold out both shows in Mexico. I said, uh-oh. I felt the shift. It was only like November, December, I felt the shift. I said, something's going on. 2026 gonna be different. And gang, I kid you not, I have been called. 2025 was sweet. 2025 was sweet for me and others. Our channels thrived. We had a good time, gang. We grew, right? Our messages were being heard. We were in unison, right? A lot of pages like mine that kind of critiqued hip hop and stood on hip hop business. Oh, we flourished in 2025. Flourished. Best years of most of our careers. 2025. But in 2026, at the beginning of the year, when we said Happy New Year, something changed. Something changed. And I see a switch up where you can't really criticize no more because you're instantly a hater. Right? Let me fast forward to right now. This week, in the last 5 days, I've seen a narrative it's been coming, and I'm gonna get to the whole narrative that's already there, that's been building. But now your material like mine, what I do, Quality, Big Zo, different people of that nature, Read My Soul, people that critique hip hop, they're starting to call this shit. I'm just going to start right here where they're calling it Drake hate, right? They're like the videos that I produce and other people critical of Drake, such as Yo EQ TV, this, that, and the third. They're starting to say those are Drake hate videos, right? And J Roebuck, salute to J Roebuck, the other side, the guy that is the new Drake channel, right? For people that want pro Drake content, J Roebuck is over there doing his pro Drake content. Salute to J Roebuck. I have nothing against him. We just see difference of opinions, and that's okay, right? But he put up a post the other day, and it made me realize right here, right now, we just hit that point where all of that they were building up through 2026, his post solidified where we are. And he said all of those Drake hate videos, I'm paraphrasing, all of those Drake hate content creators are at a brick wall, because that style of content is drying up, and you guys are going to have to look elsewhere. Pretty much that's what the post was insinuating. And I was like, that must be to me to a degree, right? I was like, oh, that must be to me. Had to be. What he's trying to say is, oh, now that this Iceman Records has hit, it's the third week, and I wrote on this post, I said 2 weeks, and you guys are we're already there, right? You guys are celebrating like you want to change. It's 2 weeks. But he said all that Drake hate content is drying up, right? And that was the crescendo of what's been falling since Happy New Year's for 2026. It has been a thing where if you critique anyone in any kind of way, you're a hater. They go under my post on my Twitter when I write anything, like anything. Ain't you tired of hating, homeboy? You too old to still be hating, B. Look at you crashing out. You still hating. They sum up all of my content, everything I say and do, as hate. It's hate content. It's hating the boy. Whoever I'm talking about. When I talk about Kanye, it's hate content, right? These people, we're going to get to what they really do, right? We're going to get to what they really do. But it can't be that they can be critiqued. No. No, you can't critique them, gang. You have to be hating them. I can't make a video when the guy does something ridiculous because that's hate. Now in 2026, there's no breathing room, right? There's no breathing room. You have to be full on hating. Let me get to the super chat real quick. Salute to Boy Is Hard out here. Appreciate you for the super chat. He said, we need your voice in this space. I'm going to be here regardless, gang. Like I always say, whether I got one person following or 1,000 or 1,000,000, it's going to be the same content. I'm going to be critiquing. I'm here to set the record straight, and I want to talk about why it's a difference between hate and critiquing, okay? But that's where I am right now. They're literally saying under all of my content, right? Salute to the super chat. I appreciate you. Aretha says, much love. 24/7 facts guy. I appreciate you, Aretha. Aretha, thank you for the super chat. Listen, these people now everything I say on Twitter, gang, I purposely don't even say this guy's name no more. I normally I'll write a sentence or two. I don't even got to say his name, right? I don't even got to say his name, and they'll come anyway. You hating B? Old head hating. Here we go again. You've been crashing out for 2 years, right? This is what's going on. Salute. Mika, salute. Drake and his stands have co-opted the word hate like MAGA did with woke. Don't let them have it. If they want to call it hate, then so be it. Salute. I appreciate you, Mick. You're right. You're right. And I'm not giving it to him. That's why this video is being done. I was going to do a regular video. I haven't done a regular video in a while. I just keep going live, gang. Because I like to feel, I like to feel you guys. I like to feel your comments and what you're thinking about the situation in real time. But they go under my post, gang, and they call me a hater day and night. It's always been there, but it ain't been like this. Where the slightest critique now, they expect you to be hating. They expect me to be saying some hateful shit. Even if it's just basic common knowledge. And sometimes I do get spicy, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes, yeah, I'll go in on the dude because it'll be some really egregious stuff. And I definitely get real spicy with academics. But his people, he be saying, you hating on academics, da-da-da. So let's get to what this word hate really is. Let's get to this. Let's get to that. Because they keep trying to tell me that every time I speak out and criticize this guy, he should want criticism, gang. I'm just going to be honest. Criticism made me where I am to this day. I listen to criticism. You should want it. Now, who wants to hear it all day? No, you don't want to hear it all day, but you should want it. I criticize Drake on the regular. I criticize Dame Dash on the regular. I criticize Kanye on the regular. I criticize Dame, so criticize academics and his flunky academics TV, aka Grand Wizard Chat N-word. I criticize all of them. And at some point, though, it get heavy because you feel like people think you're just hating all day. But you know what it is, gang? It's so much silly stuff going on that's all you can do is criticize all day. They give you ammunition. They give me ammunition. They give Zoe. They give EQ. They give Quality. They give us they give Chilling with Moni. They give us the ammunition. We can't make these. Every time you think it's going to slow down, all you got to do is wait a few hours. Every now and then there's a slow news day, like they say. Just wait a little bit. Just wait. Right? Drake gonna do something. Kanye gonna do something. Academics 100%. Gang, academics has been doing so much, gang, I can't even keep up with him right now. Academics is doing so much nonsense. You can't even, by the time you get the story together, there's another clip. I can't even keep up with the guy. It's so ridiculous. He's so entrenched in this Jay-Z freestyle. He's out in front of it. He can't even get no sleep, gang. I don't know what mandate they've handed down to academics. He can't even sleep. He's up nonstop talking about Jay-Z, him and the Grand Wizard. They forgot they were supposed to destroy Charlemagne. They forgot that. They forgot that wasn't even but a week ago, 2 weeks before Iceman, when Iceman dropped, they were supposed to be destroying Little Baby. They forgot that. Non-stop. Can't keep up with the guy. Every time I start to think of the title for the video, he got another weird-ass clip. So all I have to do is just wait. But gang, we've never, and people get in my comments and they say it all the time. Let's just be honest. People that like my channel, I can tell you at least 10 different people get in my comments. Challz, Write these dissertations too, long dissertations. Challz, listen, bro, you're too talented for this. You need to be talking about the music. Get to the music. You need to be talking about other things other than Drake and Kanye and these people. You need to be doing some positive. Some homeboy win the chat of the morning show and said, "Can we be positive today, CB?" That's how crazy it is getting. Because for one, let's just be honest, right? Let's just be honest. Appreciate you for the super chat. I say, where do you see the tides turning from here? Do you think Drake regains a substantial hold of the industry, or do you think everyone is moving on from him? I personally want more Keem and Schoolboy. All right, so that's from Boy. It's hard out there, hot out here. Listen, it's already happening, my guy. That's where we are, and that's where this conversation is going. Because the stuff that I do, they're calling it hate. That is a buzzword to just try to freeze out everything we're saying as hate. That's where this is going. If you look around, there are so many old school artists jumping on board. That train over there. You saw The Game come out. You saw Jim Jones. It's a whole bunch of Lil Baby took that selfie in front of that mirror, talking about, I already picked a side. There are a lot of people trying to make it where it's not cool to criticize no more. That's where it's at this point. At this point, when you come out speaking against this guy or someone that's doing things in this industry that's kind of effed up, you look like a hater. And academics is making sure that you get called that. So at this point, I'm sure they gotta listen. I'm on top of it, right? You saw Poetic Flacco do the video on me about a week ago, right? No, it wasn't a week and a half, right? You saw Poetic Flacco go and post J Roebuck's video. J Roebuck, like I said in the beginning, who's the new Drake channel. J Roebuck did a hit piece on me, right? Which is whatever. I have no ill will about it. That's his job. He did a hit piece on me, and kudos to him. He did a hit piece, and he said, this video sponsored by Charles Brown, right? Because back last year in it was November, I believe it was November 16th. I was speaking on the upcoming the Iceman, the never-ending rollout, the never-ending rollout. It was a never-ending rollout. It was going on 2 years. Even back then, it was already a long time. It was a year and a half. We had already got which one? We had already got What Did I Miss, all that, and we still had no album, right? So I was saying at that time, it was November, the very last record that Drake had dropped was Doghouse with Yeet, right? And I forgot the woman's name, right? Doghouse with Yeet, one of his worst performance records he's ever had. It didn't do squat. It dropped off the charts. It never went any. I don't think even it made the charts. It did something, right? Poison Ivy was good, and that was the third song off of the rollout, the episode 1, 2, and 3. What you guys got to remember is those episodes were part of the rollout, and that was last year. That ended in, like, I believe it may have been October, August, or between August, September, October. The third episode was sometime in, maybe, I don't remember. I know the first two were in July, and then the first two in July, and the third one may have been August, sometime around that, whenever it was, right? And the third one featured Yeet, the song with Yeet, Doghouse, and someone else, right? Salute to the chat. Lisa's sister, I see you. Jinxie. So, based on that information, I saw that there was no buzz. There was no buzz for the album. It was dead in the water. And I made a statement when I was speaking on the Iceman album. I was like, I actually wasn't even speaking on the album. I was speaking on the interview. Drake did an interview with Complex Magazine. And Complex Magazine were very open and honest that the interview was emailed. It wasn't, he didn't sit down with anybody. It was an email. They emailed him some questions. He emailed them back. We don't even know if Drake wrote these answers, right? But it was dry as hell. It was talking about the process of making the episodes or everything that went into the episode, the technical part of the episode. And I was like, man, what are you talking about? We want to hear about this battle. We want to hear your thoughts on what's going on. We want to hear your thoughts on anything else but how you made those episodes. But that's what they let him get away with. So I said the interview was dry. He need to be worrying about this album. And I said if the album dropped right now, basically said if he drop it right now, it's going to do between 150 and 225, right? I ended up not correcting it, but I added, I said between 150, 180, 225 at best. I said it at that time based on how cold, and the shit was cold. Gang, I'm telling you right now. He had dropped the what did I miss first? That it tried to make some noise, it fizzled. Then he dropped which one did it. I'm absolutely nothing. His own fans were arguing about should it be the right single, this, that, and the third. And then he dropped the Doghouse. The thing was ice cold. I said if he dropped it right now to do 150 to 225. That's what I said, right? Preposterous as it may sound, that's what I said in that thing. So J. Roebuck went and took that quote after Iceman dropped out. Mind you, the week before Iceman dropped, I went on Culture United to talk to, I talked to Company Man, we were talking, and he said, Challz, what do you think Iceman, what does success look like? What is Iceman going to do? I said 450, right? With more information, he had hyped it up. He had dropped 350 tons of ice in Toronto. He had lit the CN Tower where he was about to, and he had iced out the seats. He did a whole lot of promo for this thing. When it's all said and done, he got the Michael Jackson glove, which was, I believe, $120,000. He spent $16 million on promo. When it's all said and done, he hit 463. He dropped 3 albums, Hibbity Bibbity and Maid of Honor. So, right before all that happened, I said 450, but J. Roebuck skipped over the 450 comment or didn't hear it, went all the way back, because what happened on Twitter, there's about 5 people who 5 Drake fans, it's probably thousands at this point. It's thousands that follow what I say, try to come back and use my words against me. But there are really 5 super fans of his that watch my stuff and remember what I say, right? There are hundreds of them that attack me on a daily basis. That's fine. That's okay. But there are 5 who remember. One of them started to go into my videos and he clipped that up about the 150. And he was repeatedly putting that on but you said 150. You said 150, right? So when he put that that kid, whoever that was, started doing that, it started to catch legs over there in OVO land, right? So it got to J. Roebuck. He went to the video, clipped it up, and did a hit piece, which is whatever. It is what it is. I accept everything that happens in this business. So he did a hit piece and said, this Drake hater called, I was at that point a Drake hater. Flacco did the follow video. So he said the Drake haters are scrambling because they thought it was going to do 150. Okay? That became pin up, they call it bulletin board material. He did the video, bing bong. I didn't even know it was up. I didn't know because he didn't put my name in the title. None. He just did a video and he mentioned me. Flacco, right? Poetic Flacco, who has 300, salute quality in the building. He has 390,000 followers. The next morning, decided to run that story, right? Drake haters are scrambling. Was it something to that effect? And lo and behold, my clip of me saying 150 was now on Flacco's page that has 390,000 subs. As the poster child for the scrambling K-bots and Drake haters. I now was the poster child for that. And needless to say, they had a field day with that. But with me, when I saw that, it was showtime. I said, oh shit, this showtime. Because yeah, I don't know if they thought this was going to be good or bad. Because what I started to do was put my response together. Okay, end of the day. And I was with it. I wanted all the smoke. I went in Flacco's comments and da. But the funny part about it, right? Flacco says on the video, I don't even know this guy. If it wasn't for if it wasn't for Jay Roebuck, right? He knows Jay Roebuck, don't know me, right? Sure, okay. I've done stories on Flacco many times. I've been in Flacco's comments crazy. People has added him. I don't add people, but they've added him with my material. I've done all kind of stories on Flacco, this, that, and the third, right? But Flacco does the story on me, doesn't know me, claims he calls me the Drake hater. And he starts going through the stats. 150. Why can't you just get back in your? He said, what you should have did was just get back in your car and say I made a mistake, my bad. Oh no, but he doubles down. So then they got the new video of when I responded. Right? It wasn't even a response. I was talking. It wasn't a response to Jay. It was a response to the person in my comments who was saying, but you said 150. You said, so I was mentioning in my video, I said that guy on my Twitter, because I always talk about my Twitter shenanigans, and I randomly said a guy on Twitter said that I quoted that Iceman would do 150, right? This was after the drop. I said, but that guy doesn't remember, because they were coming at me that whole week on Twitter saying, you said 150. They were saying it already before Jay Roebuck even did that. So Joe Roebuck, I'm sorry. So they were coming at me on Twitter, So I responded in the next video. I said, before Flacco even did the hit piece or Jay, I said 450 on Company Man, but nobody wants to remember that, right? So Jay clipped that up, Flacco clipped that up. They both were like, oh, but you doubled down, all this. Like, no, I didn't double down. I said 450 on another video, right? Jay acknowledged that, but Flacco was hesitant. So they had fun at my expense. They had a good time. Good old time, Flacco, So what I'm saying is I became the hater, right? I became the hater. Now, I went back and watched my original video. Salute to Richard. we have to get this Beard Owl Yanka Ninja the F up out of hip hop. I agree. Salute. So listen, I in my video, I went back and watched my video, my follow-up, the video that I initially said the 150. Gang, I was cooking. I watched the whole video. I was like, I don't see where I was wrong anyway. Like, this video was cooking. This is one I was in rare form on this shit. I was cooking the whole video, right? It was the video about the interview. I said this interview's terrible. So I sit back and I'm like, they won't mention the stuff I cooked on. They went and found that one thing where I said 150, 225, right? So Flacco carried the story. And I told you that long ass story all the way around to say that they're painting me, among others, as haters. Once you're a hater, you can be discredited. Do you understand? That's the real purpose, to call someone a hater. I just a hater. Back in the 90s, when we just say you just a hater, you just B dot, you a hater. I mean D dot, you're just a hater. You're a mad rapper. You're just a hater. And once you are deemed a hater, then your opinion is invalid, right? It ain't criticism no more. I don't listen to him. He just hating. So that's why Flacco does the story. It wasn't even necessarily about me. It's to expose guys who don't know what they're talking about. They cherry picked that one thing that I said. And at the time, when I said it, I listened to myself again. I said, Challz, you had every right to say that. The album was dead ass ice cold. That's why they didn't drop it. Gang, do you understand? Do you understand that the third episode, they were supposed to drop the album? Do y'all know that? I don't know if y'all know that. They told What's the Dirt the album was going to drop. They told What's the Dirt a single was going to drop in the third episode, and they opted to not do it. And What's the Dirt and another channel on on Twitter, they faced the wrath of God. Them Drake fans came down on them. They ruined their reputation. What's the Dirt had said openly on his live. He said, I will never say that something's going on with Drake again, because they lied to me. He literally said that. He was steaming mad because they told him to hype up that episode 3 because things were going to drop that night. And he did it. He made flyers and everything because I was watching. I was clowning him. He made flyers and everything. He went live and everything. He watched the whole thing. And when they ended that thing, he was fuming because he had put his reputation on the line. There's another channel, I can't remember the name of the channel, but they were really good at getting exclusives. Their record was almost pristine. They would, like, when they said something happened, it would normally happen. So they said it, and them Drake fans went absolutely ape shit on them. It's your fault. You lying sacks of trash. They went at them. They had to shut their page down for a little bit because they were going at them so bad. They weren't even posting no more. But that's what happened. They were supposed to drop that album when episode 3 dropped, gang. That's what I'm telling you. And it probably would have did 225. It had no motion. Right? Yeah, I said 150, 225. That's low balling. But they didn't listen to the 225. They stuck on 150. Salute to the super chat, right? The Don, salute. I would rather be criticized by someone than to be surrounded by yes men. There's always room for improvement, regardless of how you go in life. And if he would have listened to some criticism, it'd probably be better music over there, right? So at the time I said that, it wasn't looking good for the album. They knew that. They didn't drop it. You got to understand. Think about. All right, let's talk about the industry right now. They were doing at that time. They had just dropped 100 gigs upon your head top. Remember that? Then they struggled to get, they had to 24-hour stream to get Nokia to get to number 2, gang. I remember the post on Twitter, guys, come on, guys. We can do this, guys. I remember it. So you got to understand the industry of this. They dropped 100 gigs. They dropped Nokia. They dropped some sexy songs for you. And then they dropped, they dropped What Did I Miss? That was supposed to be, gang. You don't understand. What Did I Miss was supposed to be a smash hit. I'm trying to tell you some real shit, gang. What Did I Miss was supposed to be a smash. This was his comeback record. It wasn't on some sexy songs for you. This was it. This was supposed to launch Iceman. This was last July or June, June or July last year. I think it was June. Summertime. What Did I Miss was supposed to be on every station, every playlist. That was supposed to be it. That joint was not it whatsoever. Close, but no cigar. You gotta be quicker than that. No. So you got to understand, it wasn't this. This Iceman here, very well crafted. It took months and months to reverse the narrative. It wasn't time yet. It wasn't time yet. They hadn't reversed. They hadn't got the online message out that he's not finished. He's not done, because he wasn't feeling like he wasn't done. You got to remember back then, y'all remember you used to see Drake, he had bags under his eyes. He looked stressed. He wasn't back. He wasn't there yet. He wasn't there yet, gang. So you got to, I don't know if y'all remember at the time, it wasn't looking that good. They were supposed to drop, but they couldn't. All right. When I say 150, 225, it wasn't looking good. So they had dropped 3 episodes. This was some industry stuff. Everything that they were trying to they were feeling out the market. And the market was not responding. And by the time they got to the 3rd one, they were like, the market is cold on us. There ain't no way we can drop that now. What I was telling Jay when I went on Twitter the other day under that post that he wrote, that you Drake haters, your time is up. That stuff, that industry is after 2 weeks of Iceman being out, it was going on the 3rd week. It was going into the 3rd week. And he wrote this celebratory thing, right? It wasn't that yet. It wasn't 350 tons of ice yet. It wasn't everybody in the bit, like everybody in New York, all old heads all of a sudden started saying, yeah, my guy, my guy. We saw, gang, we saw an uptick of support. Let's just not forget. Let's not act like it didn't exist. We saw an uptick of support. Even J. Cole came out. I hope Iceman goes crazy, right? So a lot of things changed from the time I said 150, 225. They did a lot of testing. They did a lot of changing of narrative. They put a lot of money out there to make things look like they didn't look like that. There was a lot of pages from Africa and this, that, and the third, Milan and everywhere, posting constantly to change that narrative, gang. It took a couple more months than they thought. So yeah, when it actually dropped after admittedly $16 million of promo, that is not me making that up. Go Google it. $16 million of promo. A lot of stuff changed from when I said 150, 225. A lot of stuff changed. So that was November of last year. They weren't ready to drop it. I made an accurate prediction based on what I saw. So then when they put the ice out and they licked it and this, that, and the third, and Aiden Ross, everybody, oh my God, Ben the Don, everybody's hyping up the album. By then, they had successfully changed the narrative. Okay? They had successfully changed the narrative. And by the time Company Man asked me on Culture United, said, Charles, what did I say? 450, because I know what I'm talking about. They had changed everything by then. Okay? They had changed everything. People had softened. I told you, 2026, everybody softened their edges. All of the, even the consumers, even the people had started to, a year ago, people was like, I ain't listening to Drake again. By the time it dropped, people was like, well, I'm just going to listen and hear what it sounds like. Everything changed, gang. You don't understand. Time healed a lot of wounds. They got in front of a lot of things. They changed a lot of narratives, and they got a lot of people coming out saying, yeah, he ain't so bad. That's my guy. I'm choosing him. What did he do? He lose? How did he lose? That was the big narrative. How did he lose? What did he lose? He's still the #1 stream. And that whole thing of building up them streams again, making it where he was the #1 streamer, that went a long way to changing the narrative, because before it was looking bad. So all of that stuff came into play. And when Company Man asked me, I said 450. So what at that time when I said that, they didn't, Jay didn't take it. He did admit it that I said 450, but it didn't matter because he stayed on the 150. And I became the Drake hater that's delusional. And that's why Flacco picked the story up, because they got to keep the train going. It don't just stop because he dropped. They have to keep the narrative going. They got to squash people like myself. So right there, if you're a hater, then we don't need to listen to you because you say stupid shit like 150. That's why the story was made, to make me look like a nonsense hater who doesn't know what he's talking about. But had he dropped that surprise album, had he dropped that album when episode 3 came out and Doghouse was supposed to be the record, that album would have flopped. And that's why they didn't drop it. But Jay Roebuck would never say that. They would never say that, because that would mean that they would admit defeat. But I know what I'm talking about, because they didn't drop it. But that's why they hit me with the hit piece, because they cherry picked some shit that I said 7 months ago. I said that last year. So they painted me as the #1 Drake hater that they didn't even know. Poetic Flock was like, I don't even know this dude. But you did a whole story. So you did a whole video on a dude that you don't know. Make it make sense, gang. Make it make sense. They 100% know who I am, gang. I'm going to promise you that. That is a fact. That is a fact. And I know the bubble bath rapper knows who's calling him the bubble bath rapper. I'm going to put that on you. I'm right now. Okay? And it ain't hate. Salute. Charles, does Jay throw more shots at his New York concerts, or did he get everything off his chest? That's a good question. I don't want to speculate because I don't know. He might, or he might let it go. But if I'm a gambling man, I'm gonna have to say he will. I'm gonna say he will. Okay. And even that Jay thing they got people calling people haters. They calling him a hater. But this is where it's at with me, right? Let's talk about the stuff that I'm supposedly hating him about. They calling me a hater. They want me to submit because Iceman's allegedly doing well. That thing's still dropping like a brick. It's breaking numbers, gang, but it's 43 tracks. It should break numbers. Right? I just saw the post today about he hit a billion streams. Right? And salute to Hip Hop Clips, because he went right under that post and said, well, A$AP Rocky hit it 1 billion streams 2 days faster than Drake did. So it ain't as incredible as it's incredible, let's be honest, but it ain't that special, gang. So it's like a lot of stuff that we're being force fed to eat. They're making us eat this crow, right? You haters now eat the day in my comments, gang, all day. Iceman still on the charts. You said they telling me what I said. It is falling. I never said it wasn't going to do numbers. I never said that. But I did say it was going to fall like a brick, and it is. Oh boy. How Ice Cube say the villain does get effed with no Vaseline. That joint is free falling. Gang, there is a post right now. I got the pictures. I should put it in the so you can see it. There is a Drake fan. His tweet says, why is this falling so fast? Matter of fact, let me see if because it's going viral. He says, why are we falling so fast? I'm gonna read it verbatim because this is what's going on. They keep, I don't know if you understand how much attacks I get, gang. They come on my posts every day in the hundreds talking trash. But there is a post right here. He said, it's a guy named Lee on Twitter, right? He says, why we losing so many streams? What the F is happening? Right? He's confused because there is a, matter of fact, I'm gonna put this out right now. There is another graph showing this thing is still dropping like a brick, right? But they still are breaking records. I believe it's going on the third week at #1, right? I don't know how much longer it's going to stay at #1, but it's doing really well, right? At this point in time. But it is, as far as in that Billboard arena, it's doing well. But the numbers are dwindling. There's nothing really to compete with it. Not like that, really. Let's just be honest. They picked the perfect time. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it where everybody just held their stuff back for a little bit, because it's nothing to knock this thing off, gang, right? Let me see the comments. He said 1 hot song out of 43 is insane. And what they don't realize that the K dot numbers are just as good, and in many cases doing better. And he only had how many songs on that album? Was it 12? Something like that. I don't remember the exact number on GNX, but GNX just went triple platinum, right? 600 million, some crazy shit. It got 600 million pure sales and a bunch of physicals moved. It's going crazy. Not like us re-entered the charts again, gang. It's insane that this guy haven't said nothing in 2 years and is still competing with your album. But they want to remind me that I said 152.25 almost a day last year, 7 months ago. So they're marking me as a hater. And that's hence the title. They think I'm a hater. So let's talk about it. What I just did when I said that the album, if it had dropped last year, it would have tumbled. It would have done way worse than it is right now. That is called hate. That's me taking an educated guess, looking at the market. I'm looking at how cold your singles are. Each single after the next single that followed up did worse than the last one. It didn't do better. So I had every right to make that guesstimate. But they called me a hater. I criticized him for making a lawsuit over a rap battle. Guess what I got called? A hater. No rapper should be making lawsuits over rap battles. But when you point it out, you become a hater. I told you my brother-in-law, he loves him some Drake, gang. You already know this. I tell you that all the time. And I sent him that J freestyle because let me preface this. I need you to understand why I sent him the J freestyle and said, tell Drake keep J name out his mouth, because my brother-in-law, God bless his heart, when Iceman dropped in that record where he said what he said about Jay, right? My brother-in-law put in the chat, he said, tell Jay, keep the boy name out his mouth. They were celebrating. They were celebrating Drake coming for Jay. My brother-in-law literally said in the chat, Challz, you know behind the scenes. I said, Jay just defended him. He just said, I don't like what you guys did to Drake. He said, come on, Challz, you're being obtuse. Right? Some to that effect is what he said. You know behind the scenes how Jay gets down. And you know he probably been talking crazy about the boy all these years. And Drake finally responded. So Drake, once again, gang, Drake once again was the victim, he responding and defending himself. Once again, it could never be what it is, right? That these two guys haven't subbed each other in years and Drake comes out of nowhere and subs them. It can never be that. It can be, you know, Jay had to say something behind the scenes that triggered it. It has to be a reason. So at that point, when he sent that to the fam, oh, that wasn't a family chat, but it was family, but it's just the guys. He sent that to the guys' family chat. When Jay bust that move on that Roots picnic, I returned the favor. And you know what he said? This is what my brother-in-law said, gang. And I tell you these things because y'all don't know him, so it is what it is. He said, Challz, the freestyle was dope. Damn, you such a Drake hater. That's what my brother-in-law said to me. Now, think about, process that, right? I put the laughing emoji on and I laughed at it. But process just what just happened. When Drake did it, sent it to me, told, keep the name out the mouth, it was Big Bone and Brolic. When Jay come back and respond, oh, man, it's dope, man. Why you acting like a hater? Right? It's good for the goose, but not the gander. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. And that's what I'm talking about. The narratives change and the things, they shift, they move, they're very fluid. they don't stay the same when it's on the other end of when it's on the other side of the room. Right? So with all that being said, I criticized the lawsuit. I went in a whole thing last year when I was I had got like COVID or something. I did COVID, but we had went on a cruise and I got sick. And Kendrick had did the Super Bowl. And I was sick, right? Came back from that cruise in the basement, damn near thought I was gonna die. It might have been that other thing. What's that new one they got? The Nara. I might have had the Nara virus last year. But I watched the Super Bowl performance. Kendrick. Sick as a dog, right? I was coming off the sickness, but I still barely talking, da-da-da. And when you go back and watch, I couldn't do videos for a couple of days, and I don't get sick often, right? But when Kendrick did that Super Bowl thing, I did a video on it. And I got like it's like a scarf around my neck. I'm barely talking. But I was talking about the Super Bowl performance. And I started talking about how when I first saw it, my feelings toward it, because I wanted him to do this song, that song, da-da-da. I was like everybody else, predicting what he's going to do, this, that, and the third. And then I started to speak about Little Challz, me as Little Challz, when I first started getting into rap and I was younger and I really was passionate about rap and I was about hip hop. And that is the kid. I said, he looked at that Kendrick performance as one of the greatest things he's ever seen because the guy kept it hip hop. He didn't try to placate and do his hits. He didn't try to make the crowd boogie yoogie yoogie. He got up there on some rebel shit. He had Uncle Sam, some black shit, black fist in the air. he was like, oh yeah, Don, y'all shouldn't have never let me up here. This the wrong, you got the wrong one. He did Euphoria and Not Like Us. And I said, little Challz would approve of this, right? And the reason I'm bringing up little Challz, because he would have cussed me out from what I was thinking. He should have did this, that, and third. Then when I looked at it through his eyes, I was like, oh yeah, nah, Doc killed this shit. And that's exactly, he's supposed to be, wasn't supposed to be no hits. Wasn't none of that. He was supposed to do exactly what he did. And I was like, Lil Challz is right. Right? And what Lil Challz would have been like, you mean to tell me, dog, up in the future, there's a guy that actually sues for a rap battle? And I would have, and I'm like, yeah, Lil Challz, like, it really happened. Let me tell you what happened. I broke down the whole story, and Lil Challz is flabbergasted. He said, wait, really, Challz? Are you really dead ass? Like, you mean to tell me in 2024, somebody actually goes to court over a rap battle? Are you dead ass? Like, he can't believe it. And that spirit, that kid that doesn't process all this shit going on, oh, Lil Challz really would have a problem with Drake. He would really have a real problem with him. It wouldn't even be no question. You couldn't even talk about him around him. Okay? So, in the spirit of Lil Challz, right, the nigga that he really about this hip-hop shit. Because it means something to people. Ain't no marketing, ain't no none of that, like none of that matters. What it sold, what it streamed, none of that shit matters. The Lil Challz, it didn't give a fuck. It mattered about your integrity and about your skills and about your music. And if you followed the codes of this shit, if you didn't, get the fuck out of here. End the story. Lil Challz didn't really have no conversation for no goofy shit like that. So with that spirit, right, that I can't stand in front of Lil Challz and sit there and make excuses for a dude with a lawsuit over a rap battle. I don't give a fuck what he tried to say it was for. So consider me Lil Challz. That's big now, and that's how I roll, just like that. So I don't make excuses for niggas. I don't give a fuck if Kendrick come out suing nigga for a rap battle. We gonna have a problem with K-Dot. I'm not having it. So that's why I say what I say. And these people in this era cannot understand that because they're so used to jumping through hoops and making excuses and putting their sensibilities onto hip hop. If you're going to be a rapper, right? If you're going to be a rapper, that for years I had to sit through conversations that this guy should be considered the number one. And if not, who it like, gang, it's mind-boggling that before the battle, even before this battle, around the time after back to back, I had to sit through conversations of this guy being nominated in the top 5 conversation of real rappers like Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, KRS, Rakim. Like I had to sit here and explain and argue till I'm dead tired. Dead tired, gang. You don't understand. It was people literally arguing that this guy belongs in that conference. Even after they knew he had Ghost Riders, you still had to argue with him, gang. We're like, but he making pop records. Nah, son, look at what he sold. Yo, look at the clubs, it's lit. This is where it is. So in the spirit of hip hop, and me and Lil Challz, that I gotta face him sometimes. Sometimes he come out ask me shit. So when I get up on these mics, I gotta represent that shit. Because that's where real hip hop really was at. Right? Wu-Tang Clan and all that. Like it's different, gang. Boot Camp Click, right? Mob Deep. I can't. No, I know what hip hop really is, and it ain't no shit about going get your lawyers because you lost a rap battle. That sounds like somebody who should have never got in it. So I criticize and critique. Appreciate you for the super chat, Toy Toy. I own my own masters. You know I ain't missing no royalty statements. I can't be rated down how stun on them haters. I must have read it. I said it wrong. I can't be rated. Damn hove stun on them haters. There it is. I read it. I read it wrong. I need my glasses. But this is where we are right now. Lil Challz flabbergasted. When I tell him shit, I be like, yeah, there's a rapper. Yep. He do more singing than rapping, but yeah, he rap. Or is he nice? I'm like, he all right, but a lot of people be writing his rhymes. Wait, niggas writing his rhymes? Lil Challz like this, they writing his rhymes like Kid and Play? So then he really don't be like, he don't really be talking really too crazy or nothing. Like he like Kid and Play, like he like party and dance. Well, he do, hold up, Lil Challz, he do party and dance and this and that, but sometimes he act tough. What you mean he acting tough? But you just told me people be writing his raps. He can't be acting tough. I'd be like, yeah, Lil Challz, like, listen, homeboy be talking crazy. He be talking real big bone. I'd be like, hold up. Lil Challz like, nah. How can he talk big? Lil Challz confused. How can he talk big bone when he be other niggas writing this shit? I say, Charles, I ask the same question, right? He like, well, when they, back in the day, when somebody wrote your raps, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they wrote your raps, then you said the raps. Like, it's like Oaktown 357. Like, somebody write their raps, they just say the rap, they dance, and then they make their money, and we cool with that. We don't have no problem with it. We don't have no problem if you don't write your raps, but you really can't be too crazy with the shit, right? Like, you don't be asking to say that you the best. He do be saying he the best. I say, yeah, he do say stuff like that. Well, he can't say he the best because he's not really. Charles, I'm confused. I'm like, I am too. But this is where it is, and this is what we've accepted. And I actually got to argue with people, Lil Challz. I got to argue with people that this guy can be on a Mount Rushmore of real rappers. Say what he say. Well, listen. Do you cuss them out? I'd be like, I try. Lil Challz, I try to cuss them out, but they low key, they really don't listen. It's a different era. They don't really respect the culture no more. They fans. They like people. They don't like the music. They like certain rappers. Some of them never even heard hip hop until they heard that guy do it. I gotta explain Lil Challz like it's different. He's confused. Super chat time. Let me see. Toy Toy says, sorry, Miss Drizzy, for so much art talk. Silly me rapping about shit that I really bought. While these rappers rap about the guns they ain't shot. This Hove got some classics. He got some classic shit he be talking to your boy. Let me get this other super chat Toy Toy wrote. And a bunch of other silly shit they ain't got, J. Hove. So listen, Hove been schooling Drake for a while. Now, do y'all see what they trying to do to Hove? Do you see everybody coming out the woodwork? I just did a video this morning. I went live. I did the morning show. And Homeboy, Academics was showing Homeboy in a Pooh Shiesty mask. Talking about, yeah, I'm a Drake fan. Fuck Hove. Da, da, da. He's going all out. Disparaging Hove. Called him. He said he looked like the Predator. He said, I heard you like him young. It's a whole thing. So they're losing their shit because this freestyle. And they're making Hove into a hater. They're saying he's a clout chaser. They're saying he never should have said that, right? I just did a video of Ray Daniels saying he should have never popped it off. He should have never said that because he doesn't have the numbers right now to back it up. All kind of stuff. A lot of stuff that Ray said. A lot of stuff Joe Budden said. A lot of people saying a lot of things, right? Oskino, a lot of people that took shots are arguably firing back. Dame Dash sat down really quickly with Art of Dialogue, called Jay-Z every name but a child of God, right? It's scrambling. And they're making people out to not have real opinions because they're critical. Jay-Z defended himself and was critical of these guys. And he said things about Aubrey's paperwork. And you know what Ray Daniels said? You should have never talked about his paperwork because you're 17 years older than him. You should have more than him. Why are you trying to talk about his paperwork? He's trying to make it like Drake some teenager. Ray Daniels literally said Hove is picking on people younger than him in regards to Kanye and Drake. This was what Ray Daniels. I did a whole video on Ray Daniels. I did that, I think it was the day before yesterday. Whole video on the clip, the 5-minute clip. And I told you 2026 is going to be different. Now we got grown men that look like victims. And the worst thing you can do is hate on a victim. So I look like I am a bully too. They said, Ray Daniels said that Jay-Z is punching down. Gang, I can't make this shit up. He said Jay-Z is punching down. He said Jay-Z made a career off of picking on people younger than him. And this is in defense of Drake and Kanye West, who, let me remind you yet again, Kanye West went on a Twitter rant and called Jay-Z kids retarded. And Drake said some stuff about Jay-Z's business practices, said he doesn't need to sit down dinner with Jay-Z. He'll take the money because Jay-Z can't teach him nothing. Well, Jay-Z came back and rightfully so talked about, he said, we looking at two different charts. I'm on a different chart than you. I ain't looking at the Billboard. I'm looking at something else called the Forbes, this, that, and the third. We're not on the same playing field, right? He schooled him. And you know what Ray Daniels said? We don't want to hear you get on that stage talking boss talk. You're too old for that. This is where we are. Drake never accountable for nothing. Look at the whole Iceman record. What did he take account for? I don't, absolutely nothing that I heard of. It's always this guy, that guy, the third guy. Where's the record at telling niggas what you did? But this is where we are, and I can't criticize that because then I'm a hater. Then I'm a hater. But you got people like Ray Daniels jumping out there, criticizing Hov from head to toe for defending himself. When he said that he was picking on them two guys, I could have caught a rocket to the moon and stayed up there. It was that ridiculous, gang. It's a victim mentality, and they're coming out. But this is the thing. Hov is still Hov. He still does what he does. And he did something that shook up the world, that they're spiraling, still trying to figure out what to say, what to do. People are like, why has there been no response? Nicki hasn't said one word. Drake hasn't said one word, right? Maul from Rory and Maul claims that he got on the phone with Drake, right? Put his feet up and got on the phone with Drake, laying on his stomach, his toes touching. And he said that Drake said, what's up with his hair? That was Drake's response to the freestyle. And they got on, they probably giddy gum drop for half an hour talking about Jay-Z. This is Maul trying to flex. I was on the phone with Drake, and this is what he said. Okay? So it's all about his hair, it's all about his clothes, this, that, and the third. No one's responding to the words that was actually said. And the people that are responding are saying that he is a bully. Boy is hard. I said, if the Weeknd got some ghostwriters back in 2009, Drake wouldn't exist. It's a lot of things that happen to get Drake where we are, right? It's a lot of things that happen, but I can't criticize. I can tell little Challz this stuff. He can lose his mind, but right now in 2026, nothing matters. Nothing is the same. They're doing hit pieces on me, calling me a hater. It's not figment of my imagination, gang. I saw it in real time. They did a 4-hit piece on it, and it got carried up to the top. And you know 100% that academics saw the poetic Flacco video. And I'm sure Drake patted him on the back. Good job. Because Flacco been trying to get his OVO chain for a while. Before he even knew he could get one, he was trying to get something. So Flacco been on that Drake wave for a good year, 2 years now. He's been 100% in that lane, trying to amass some type of goodwill over there as well. So people like me are now being excused because y'all still hating, right? I can't criticize that this guy is starting skirmishes and then not finishing them, or get into them, start to lose, and then calls his lawyer. I can't criticize that. I've been seeing for a while that they've been calling people like myself who criticize even the lawsuit. That's a hater. Again, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. This is my problem. I be keeping stuff a buck. And I'm gonna be honest. When 2026, and excuse me, Andy Pandy Pie, but we doing this. I know she gonna get back in them comments as soon as I say what I'm about to say. But gang, you gotta keep it honest with me. Just be honest with me right now. Just be honest, please, with this one. I'm gonna say something, and I know it's gonna be hard for people to be honest. But when it really shifted, gang, I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. When Cole, when people got wind that fall off was about to drop, and he dropped that mixtape, gang, I saw night and day where even a lot of the creators shifted their tone about being critical. The ones that was critical in 2025, when they heard that fall off was coming, they got a suit and tie and started to be journalists all over again. And they weren't criticizing Cole no more. When they heard that fall off was coming, forget it. The fans started to change. Everybody wanted to hear it all of a sudden, and everybody was open. All the reactors. At first, we was talking blacking out Drake, so why wouldn't we black out Cole, who did almost the goddamn same thing? If not worse. Lil Challz was saying he was worse. Ask Lil Challz about that, backing out of the battle, apologizing to the guy, and telling the guy to take it on. I'll take it on the chip. Ask Lil Challz probably explode. His head probably blow up. What you say? Wait, so you say he made the record? He made a record, called a man all kind of names, and this, that, and the third. He dissed his whole catalog, and then he went 2 days later and he apologized. He got on the stage at his own show, his own concert. Did he? And he deleted it. Lil Challz probably be like, "Yo, y'all soft as shit up there." But that's what happened. Lil Challz can't even process 2026. Because now that same guy who was getting clowned in 2025, oh man, forget it. In 20, gang, please be honest with me. When that fall off dropped, everything changed. Because I kept standing on business. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people didn't stand on business when that fall off dropped. They start getting hoodies and sweatshirts gifted to them. Oh yeah, it got real spooky. Right? We saw Shaq, because Shaq said, "Man, Cole, that shit was weak. You soft as shit, Cole," all this shit. And then Shaq got a hoodie in the mail and all kind of shit. And it got real different. I make my little videos about Cole, half the chat, half the fucking comments, "You a hater. Leave Cole alone. Has he not done enough? Has he not suffered?" Gang, I'm looking around like, what changed? What changed? I thought we was in agreement. We was in agreement until he dropped the birthday bash. What was that shit? The birthday bash mixtape. Oh yeah, everything changed. A lot of people, they zipped up they put the suit and tie on, and they came businessmen. Wasn't no more talking crazy about Cole, gang. I saw it night and day. Night and day. And when I kept talking, I became a hater. I stood where I was the whole time. I made a video right before he dropped. We didn't even know it was coming. I made a video about him and Wale. When that story about Wale said he still was a little hurt about the whole the J. Cole thing, the situation with what's the name of the record? False Prophets. Wale was still hurt to this day that J. Cole did that to him. If y'all don't know what J. Cole did to Wale, I could just make it real quick. I know most of you know, but sometimes people don't know. Some of these people are Gen Z. They learn it for the first time. So J. Cole came out with a record, great, one of my favorite records. This one I really thought I thought J. Cole was one of the realest niggas. Guy, I like that fucking False Prophets. That's me. That's Lil Charles on the bus, just being honest, open, sincere, rapping your ass off, even if it's at people you like. He had a rap about his friend Wale, who don't respect his blessings. Damn, man, you got fans. He'll never respect his blessings. And he had a rap about his favorite artist, Kanye West. Right? Wale didn't know that J. Cole, he said the night before False Prophets dropped, he was on the phone with J. Cole telling him some real shit about his life. J. Cole was his friend. Wasn't just industry shit, or so he thought. So when he heard the record the next day, he's like, that's me. Right? I might say it wrong. There's a movie, I think it's called Little Giants. It might be Little Giants. And it might be Little Giants. It was another movie. One of these movies from football back in the 90s. Little kids movie. And they said, the players pitched to Johnny. And he said, pitch to Johnny? I'm Johnny. Like, he was like, no, don't pitch it to me. Well, Wale figured it out. That False Prophet was about him, and it hurt. And he made a rebuttal. But while J. Cole contends to this day, it was not about Wale and it was about Kanye. Everybody knows that's not true, right? But that song, to me, I used to really feel that record. It was so fucking pure. Toy, I'm gonna get to that super chat. I saw you. You said back to back by whack to whack. If you're not an artist on a label payroll, they're gonna try and snuff out your voice because they can't control the narrative. You switch up, Challz, we gonna know. Yeah, you definitely gonna know if I switch up. A little Challz gonna have a problem, right? But when that falloff came, I felt the shift. And he had just come off. First of all, I told you he had reached apex predator status with me. And I keep saying this, and people always saying that, people saying in the comments, you ain't never heard no other verse from J. Cole. You keep talking about that damn Johnny P's Caddy. Well, the Johnny P's Caddy, to me, I literally went and listened to that shit about 5 days ago. And I was like this, God damn, this nigga fucking, it still fucking kills me. I'm like, this dude Cole, on that, it's like an apex. He was just so confident. He was just like, I mean, Benny held his own, let's just be honest, but that Johnny P's Caddy, that is a master class in MCing right there, gang. And I honestly remember I was thinking that was a verse of the year. And I honestly remember thinking that, I don't know where he can go from here. This got to be the highest point of this guy, right? So I was like, this guy right here, I don't know what we could do with him. But then what happened was, he was feeling himself and he jumped out and dissed Kendrick and realized, this wasn't enough. And he apologized and went on his bike and rode down the beach. Down by the beach. Right? Rode his bike to the beach, disappeared, apologized for the battle. We ain't seen him for months. So we clowned him. And for a time, it was good. Everybody was on this dude. Everybody was on his head. Now, the time came, and I had literally, gang, I don't know if I'm a prophet. I don't know what it was, but I had just made a video. Is this still in my videos? I said, J. Cole is quiet, and that's a good thing. I made a video right before he announced the fall off. I said, J. Cole is quiet, and that's a good thing. It's a random video. I don't know. Who would make that? I made that video. And not much longer after that, he ducked his head out and was like, bing bong. I'm coming in and I'm bringing this whole shit with me. And when he came back with that, just the sniff, it's like the smell. They got a whiff. They like, oh shit, this nigga about to drop some shit. When these guys found out that record was coming, not only did the commentators and the YouTubers and the influencers switch up, the fans switched up. They didn't want to hear no more Cole talk. 2026 is a different animal, right? And it even became to the point when that thing dropped, and you would do videos, the most of your comments would be people condemning you for talking about Cole. You were a hater. I told you, the fans, I can deal with Drake fan. They blunt force object. It's a nail hitting a hammer. Bang, bang, bang. It's easy. You can deal with that. I can deal with that. Right? They're gonna say something dumb. They're gonna crack on your looks, crack on your age. It's never a logical, you know, it's never, you don't really gotta bring too much. You just move out the way. You know what I'm saying? Just move out the way. It's just, a Cole fan is a different animal, gang. They really, these motherfuckers, I don't know, they different, gang. And they really get cerebral. They try to reverse psychology, all this shit. It's like, God, I don't really, it's a lot to deal with them, gang. After a while, you get exhausted because they do a lot of talking, a lot of writing, psychoanalyzing, everything. It's a whole different kind of animal to deal with. It got almost like, I don't even want to deal with these motherfuckers after a while. It's like, give me a good old fashioned Drake fan, like fucking shit. Just I fucking rather deal with these motherfuckers because it's too much, gang. It's too much. Okay, so as they started to get this influx of these super hyper sentimental and sensitive, these Cole fans, these thinking fans and shit, you can really feel a shift in because before he came back with that record, they were silent, gang. They were like, they accepted the loss. They just, fuck it, here we go with that Cole talk. I'm gonna skip this video. Challz, I'll get with you in the next one. They'll say it in the comments, Challz, I'm gonna skip this video. They knew I was right. I would make a Cole video. They knew I was right. So they would just move accordingly, leave it alone. When they heard this album was coming, when he did that trailer at the car wash about falling off, right? I said at the time, it's genius. It was genius. I said, this is what they want to hear because it made it like you accepted the fact that I fell off. And I let you accept that fact. But it was always a plan to come back and drop the greatest thing you've ever heard. I told you for 10, 15 years, however long it was, that I was going to do the fall off, and you knew it was coming. So he came out, he was humble, he's washing his, how humble can you be washing a goddamn Lamborghini truck? But he's humble, he's hand washing himself, right? He's hand washing, spraying it down. No one's with him, no entourage. Then he goes to what appears to be the Waffle House. He's by himself, humble. He's fallen off, right? He has fallen off. That was the message. The marketing, chef's kiss. The marketing team got it right. And when that video dropped, everything changed. Everything changed. These guys, they were Mighty Mouse. They was on some, listen, don't talk about Cole no more. Keep his name out your mouth. They got big bone and brolic, skinny, dirty kids. Like, don't talk about Cole. It got crazy. I started to feel assaulted. I was like, yo, these motherfuckers, they really dead ass serious. They was not having it, especially on Twitter, right? You know Drake fans run Twitter. Like, you know, everybody knows this. Drake fans run Twitter. MAGA runs Twitter and Drake fans. That's it, right? J. Cole fans were giving them dudes a run for their money on Twitter. They was giving them a run for their money. It was time. It's time. Y'all niggas fall back. We got this. And for a time, they was all in my comments. I was getting bigger. I was getting more. I was getting more traction for my Cole shit than my Drake shit. It was getting crazy because they was coming in droves to defend this guy. It was crazy. I said, oh, 2026 is different. It's different. And that's one of the things that let me know it was different. How everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people started to defend Cole. They started defending crazy ass interviews, right? Where and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of interviews started to lose some of his fans, these cerebral motherfuckers, because they started to really listen to these interviews and they was like, oh, okay, like Cole, please just stop with the interviews. But a lot of them were still defending it, right? And at the end of the day, we saw a shift. So now we saw people defending it. Defending Drake in the lawsuit. We saw that in real time. They were defending the appeal, which shockingly, I'm like, so the lawsuit got thrown out, and he's going to waste more time and money on an appeal, and you guys are okay with this. They were like, hell yeah, he should appeal. So I was like, okay, this is getting weirder by the minute. At some point, you accept defeat. They didn't. They would not accept defeat. They would go to the ends of the earth for this shit. For the dumbest lawsuit, the absolute dumbest lawsuit in history. They started to equate it with real lawsuits that had real meaning. It's like that's not what this is, gang. This isn't Salt and Pepper fighting for their masters. This is not that. This is a spoiled brat fighting with a guy that's like a father figure to him, and he has an issue with him, so he's trying to use the court to do it. Okay. So it became, now I'm a hater for attacking Drake. I'm a hater for attacking Kendrick. These ain't even attacks, they critiques. And I'm a hater for attacking. Forget it. Let's get to the Kanye. Forget it. I was just the depraved fucking maniac for attacking a sick man. It became crazy, gang. So now in 2026, almost everything in all of my content now, there is nobody I can really make a video about that I'm not hating on. Mind you, Cole backed out of a rap battle, then came back talking about he's the best rapper and nobody wants to battle him. It made no sense, and little Challz would probably explode. And I pointed that out. And yes, once again, I was a hater for pointing out the hypocrisy of a guy who had a chance. And gang, listen, be honest. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of my contemporaries were doing the talking. We're doing the talking that, gang, I can name you 10 of my contemporaries, literally 10 of them, who were hardcore reversing that narrative, saying we were stuck in the past, it's old shit, let it go. You're still bringing up that thing about Cole. He apologized, let it go. Wayne, a lot of people, right? A lot of people were like, you guys still talking about that shit? You guys still talking about that apology? They start having think pieces and all kind of shit to tell us we were wrong. We were wrong to still be holding this against Cole. Let me know when I'm bugging out. Let me know when I'm lying, let me know. But even on the other side of the camera, not only were the people, his fans and others, so-called hip-hop fans, were like, okay, it's time. I just want to hear the album. It's time to move on. Let this thing go. And I started to feel pretty fucking isolated out here. Right? It was, gang, it was a handful of people still talking about, nah, Cole, we can't jack this tough talking shit. And even when I tried to let up, I would be like, okay, Challz, I made at least in 2 different times. I even made videos about letting up on Cole. They're documented. I said, all right, I'm going to forgive him. I didn't say I'm going to forgive. I said, I'm going to give him a chance, and then he would do something else. Right? The first video I made, I said, all right, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a break. I'm going to give him a break. And then he came with Port Antonio, and I lost my shit. It's documented. That was the first time. I made a video about giving him a break, and people was in my comments, Challz, you're going to let you down again. Literally made a video about it. And then he came with Port Antonio. I was like, what is this shit? After everything we just witnessed, you gonna make a love letter to Drake? Are you dead ass? And you got Drake on the album cover in a blurry ass picture? What we doing? Didn't like it. And it reset me. Then he came out with the Clouds record. I was like, okay, this record kind of, all right, it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna try. I said, I'm gonna try one more time with this nigga. Sure enough, came back talking crazy again. I was like, bro, you can't, we don't want to hear, I don't want to hear you talking tough about rappers you will dismantle. I heard you say you're gonna put rappers neck, your favorite rapper, my favorite rapper, neck in a noose. One of the hardest bars I ever heard. And then you had a chance and you backed out. You got on your beach cruiser and you rode to the beach. You left everybody on red. Drake said you still ain't calling back. So we had a problem. 2 times I almost slipped on a lemon peel and give him some grace, and then he come back talking big bone and broad like I can't jack it. And they were giving me hell directly and indirectly. I could hear it in a lot of creators' voices. They were talking to me like, you still on that? Well, don't we still talk about Takeover and Ether? Like, yeah, we still on that. It's hip hop. We still talking about Tupac and Biggie. Yeah, we still on that. Shit just happened a little while ago. We still on that. And back in my day, careers were ruined for less. Rap careers were ruined for less. Cannabis had the world. Can I bust? Yes, you can. Cannabis had the world in the palm of his hand. Cannabis was to, which pissed me, or Lil Challz, right? Lil Challz. It pissed Lil Challz off when the Source magazine erroneously wrote in, again, I'm not making this up. I don't know if you can find this shit. Cannabis didn't even have an album out. And Cannabis was spitting so crazy in the 99. I ain't gonna hold you. He was spitting, listen, Cannabis rhymes are legendary to this day. But Cannabis was spitting so crazy. The Source magazine said, this is the next king of rap. He didn't even have an album. He had a couple mixtape features, but they were so crazy. Right? I know you Gen Zs, you can't process. You're like, Dell computers. He's talking about computers. I know you can't process Cannabis. But Source magazine crowned him the next king. Mind you, we got 15, 20 kings already. He hadn't even dropped an album. And they were saying, this guy is it. Pissed me off and a whole lot of other guys. Needless to say, it raised the bar for him when he drops his album. Right? Gets into the battle with LL. Some of you still argue that LL won. LL won the war. He didn't win that battle. I'm just gonna be honest. Gets into the battle with LL. At the time, the consensus was he won. Cannabis was looked at as the next king of rap. Then he got with Wyclef, signed that deal, put out arguably one of the worst albums in the history of rap. Some of you gonna say it was all right. It wasn't. We bought that album, ripped the plastic off, went home, played that shit. And midway through, we were like, what in the hell is this? And Cannabis dropped his first album, dropped the dud, and his career was over. Cannabis is rapping to this day. I just shared a Cannabis video last week, a couple days ago. He's still making music to this day. He just dropped a video a couple days ago. Cannabis, can I bust? But Cannabis' career ended. I don't know what year that was. 90. I don't remember what year Cannabis came out with that album. He had a song about pregnant girl, something, this, not a girl, this, not the third. I think Eve was on the hook. Wyclef is awful outside of his own music. He's awful to make anybody else's music. You just saw what he did with that Lil Wayne feature. He just did on the Carter 6, and he got the opera singer. I can't remember his name offhand right now. But he put him on the record with Wayne. It was terrible. Wyclef ended that man's career. And what I'm saying is, we've had people's entire careers ended for less than what this guy did. But we saw it in real time where the commentators, my contemporaries, were like, nah, bygones. Let's hear the album. Let's hear him out. And you guys that are still talking about the apology, you're stupid. I found it to be troubling. Because, yeah, you can give them some grace, but it's still got to be guidelines. And one of the guidelines we were trying to say, and they were shooting us down every time we said it, is you can't be in a rap battle that you're supposed to be one of the biggest 3 artists in the entire world. You can't back out of that battle and apologize and then come back 2 years later with the Birthday Blizzard mixtape talking all crazy about what you will do to rappers. We do not want to hear it no more. But apparently you guys loved it because the album did crazy numbers like it always is going to do. He's going to do his numbers. He did his numbers. He's going to have a massive tour. You guys went out in droves, which is what I'm not saying that to buy it or like it or not, do this, that, and the third. But what I am saying is you guys didn't care about that conversation anymore as a whole, as a collective. 2026 was in 2025. That was all the rage. Everybody had it. Everybody was on. It was 80%. Everybody was on board. Yeah, it's some sucker shit. It's corny to apologize in a rap battle. Lil Challz was like, yep. And then 2026, he announced this thing. He did that trailer with the washing off the Lambo. Forget it. What apology? Cole about to drop. What apology? What you mean? What'd he do? Everybody got amnesia. Everybody got amnesia. Greedy Grove says it was a good album. I told you guys I tried mad times to let bygones. But I had one stipulation. I just want to hear you rapping. Please don't rip up no more MCs. That was it. That was one of my biggest, I want to say, stipulations. Please, Cole, don't rip up no more MCs for me. Please. And he did. Ripping up all kind of MCs, ripping heads off, slicing necks. I was like, but Cole, dog, we was openly wondering, what can he rap about now? We were like, what can he rap about? He can't rap about ripping up MCs, right? He's ripping up all kind of MCs. I'm like, gang, like how though? You backed out of a rap battle, my G. That's like backing out of a boxing ring. You admitted defeat. They're going crazy on the Knicks right now. What happened? The Knicks won? I think the Knicks grade win the whole thing, gang, to be honest. I know you guys don't want to hear that. It's Knicks year, gang. I don't know why. I just feel like it is. Sorry. But this is what happens. And now, guess what I look like? Because I still was popping. I still was popping my shit. I still was popping my shit. I even reviewed the album. I said this is going to be the most unfair album review you have ever seen. I said I titled it. I said this is the most unfair album review. I reviewed it, but I said it's going to be unfair. And people watched it and they got in my comments like, this is some bullshit. I said it from the beginning, it's going to be unfair. I never lied about that. But I was all kind of haters, this, that, and the third. Yet again, because I'm standing on business. The album review was unfair because I listened to it while watching a reviewer. I mean, a reactor. I think it might have been Screw or Shaq or a couple. I watched a couple of reactors. I never played it for myself. I just listened to them play it. And I heard a couple snippets, this, that, and the third. And I said, I heard enough. Right? And I did end up skipping through it on some skipping through it shit. So I said, this review going to be, I didn't sit with it. I said, it's going to be unfair. I skipped through it, listened to some reactors, and boom, came up with my synopsis. Take it or don't. And they were like, B, this is so unfair. I said, I know. But this is how some people listen to shit. They skip through it, get little bits and pieces, and be like, it was trying, da-da-da. But end of the day, I was just too on business to give it a full and fair. And what I was hearing, I wasn't jacking. I'm just going to be honest. Because I can't, once I lose, when he spit the rhyme on Johnny P's Caddy, I thought he was really like that. Right? I said, this rhyme on Johnny P's Caddy, he's above the fray. He's so good at what he does. He said, it's to me, it's like, he said, y'all got stress in the booth. It's like, to me, it's like I just left the masseuse. I said, this guy is effortless. He's so good at this rapping, you can't even touch him if you want to. The best rappers in the world wouldn't touch this guy. He didn't even give Kendrick a chance to respond. He backed out. And then subsequently made a love letter to Drake. A lot of stuff that unfolded, I wasn't jacking it, and I lost all kind of faith in him. And to me and Lil Challz, we kind of got to believe you. That's the premises of rap. That's what people don't understand. The reason you love these rappers so much and the raps they spit, because you believe them. Not saying you believe that they're criminals all the time and they all this gunplay, da-da-da. But you believe that even if it won't necessarily come to that, but if it did, they would handle it exactly like they're saying on that record. And I know people are going to be in the comments, rappers lie, Challz. I don't believe rappers lie. What I'm telling you is, it's not that people lie or don't lie, but when people are pushed to their back against the wall, you got to believe that they're going to react similar to the persona that they're trying to display. So we believed him. And I believe that I got to believe you. I can't listen. I got to believe K-Dot when he's rapping. I got to believe, even though Dr. Dre gets his rhymes wrote, it's been common knowledge for a million years, but I still believe that Dre was, when he was saying what he was saying on NWA, this, that, and the third, we believed, even though people like Dre and them was faking, da-da-da, we still felt, okay, even though Dre and them was talking this talk, da-da-da, and it was over the top, it was hyperbolic. NWA was way over the top. Me being from the street, I knew that. But at the same time, you still believe that Eazy-E Ice Cube, Ren. You thought that what they were saying, that they actually kind of get down for their crown, right? Once you learn that they don't, and once you learn that it's fraud talk, it changes everything, right? So, with that being said, it changed everything, right? Or once they deceive you, just like with me, I feel like Ye deceived me. I thought he was a different person. And he started to come out against his own people and take stances on things. I didn't like it. So now, at this point, even Ye, gang, I'm just going to be honest, has been almost absolved. And we're there. I told you 2026, we're there. It's almost impossible to talk about Kanye in any kind of way. Right now, I don't know what happened. He's selling out massive stadiums. People do not care about what he said anymore. They're filling up these shows. They're filling out these seats. They're buying the tickets no matter what they cost. And if the show doesn't get canceled, they're getting there any kind of way they can, and they're going to sit down and enjoy that show. They're going to mosh. I told you 2026 is different. He just filled out that LA show, did 2 nights, I believe. He did another show somewhere else. He did the show in Turkey, 118,000 people, biggest rap show in history, right? Biggest hip hop show allegedly in history. Ye did that in Turkey. If they don't cancel him, the shows pack out. Wouldn't have happened last year. But he apologized in the Wall Street Journal, and voila, here we are. Now, Ye can perform anywhere, even in Europe, anywhere. If they let him, he's going to pack it out. There's very few people standing on business. Now with this Florida show that he got, there's some senator trying to stop it. But for the most part, they're going to pack that out too. And once again, I just did a video on Kanye. I said I am the last Kanye hater. I use that for hyper, but I use that for tongue in cheek, right? That was for tongue in cheek. That was just whatever. But I said I am the last one standing, because a lot of people have resorted to remembering the good stuff he's done and dismissing the bad stuff he's said and done. And I can't. And that is me and Lil Challz, we got a problem. We are a problem. We it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. We are a problem. Because in this era, you have a short memory span. In this era right now, if you hold on to stuff too long, you look like a hater. So by me still remembering what Kanye said and what Kanye did, the hundreds of things he's did, the egregious things he's done, I look like, when I do these videos, people get in my comments and call me a hater. Not that Ye did this, that, and the third wrong. It's that I am not forgetting it. Therefore, I am a hater. The Don said, I missed the old Kanye. Salute to the Don for the super chat. Appreciate you. This is where it is. This is where it is. Where I am now, because I won't forget or forgive, right? And just for the record, wifey don't either. She said it the other day, she's like, I would never, never forgive. Like, never, ever forgive that guy. I would never give him a penny. So some of us still stand on business. But I'm gonna be honest with you, gang. When I do, I'm really, I'm talking between me and you. I really don't see me doing no more videos on Kanye, because it's just so there's so people just don't care no more. They don't care what he did. They don't care what he said. It doesn't. It's like they've reset it. They've reset everything. And I look like a dead ass fish out of water, because people honestly don't give a shit about nothing he has said and done. They are 100% back on board. They can't wait till he comes to town. And I look absolutely crazy still talking about the nigga. Just gonna be honest with you. Just gonna be honest. Now I still talk about Drake. I still talk about J. Cole. They're actively out here doing stupid shit. Kanye just quiet. He quiet. He goes to a show. You don't hear nothing. He's just quiet. It's really nothing to really talk about. So people are feeding into that silence, which I 100% believe the silence is mandated with that new record deal he got with that new company. I think they said, we'll back you and distribute you, but we have to stipulate that you cannot go on social media. Because there's no reason for him to be this quiet. There is no reason for him to not have no comments on anything ever. I think it was mandated. I think it is part of his deal. I 100%. I don't think he's just being quiet. I think he has to be to keep his deal in track. That's just my opinion. I know how the business works. And he's a liability. So anybody that's going to sit down and do $1 million deal with him has to know he's not going to mess it up. One tweet could ruin the whole shit. I think Kanye's mandated to not speak on anything. I'm almost 100%. So right now, it looks, right? It looks like everybody that I have I'm not going to say a grudge, but that I feel has abused this culture, just like Dame Dash. They call me a hater for hating on him, but it's easy on him right now, right? He still has defenders, right? Dame Dash, but it's not as much as it used to be. A few years ago, oh yeah, they'll come my comments 4-4. Like, yo, you just a hater, da da da. Now it's not as much, right? They still come, they come like da da da, right? They come in my comments still a little bit for Dame Dash. But right now, gang, I'm getting 0 thumbs down, damn near on Dame Dash. When I crash out on Dame Dash, most people agree. Yeah, Charles, you know you got a point. Even his biggest supporters, they kind of like fell back, right? I don't get much pushback on Dame Dash. Dame Dash look ridiculous. Absolutely dumb, right? So those videos, he usually give me ammunition. He gives me ammunition. Drake gives me ammunition. Cole gave me a whole bunch of ammunition with them interviews, but he fell back too. So you're going to keep picking on a dude that ain't really doing nothing. So Kanye is extremely quiet. He's not doing nothing. So talking about him is to what reason? He's not saying nothing. He's just breathing. He's just breathing. So the people that are making these dumb moves like Dame Dash and Umar Johnson and Lord Jamar, these different people saying this dumb shit, right? You know how Jim Jones came out talking about Nas, shit like that? Yeah, get him. And even then, you're being called a hater. I'm getting people in my comments talking about Jim Jones. Why are you saying stuff about Jim Jones? Even when Jim Jones say something crazy. Right? But at the end of the day, right now, they're throwing that hater word around so much. All you got to do is mention a dude and you're a hater. But let me just tell y'all this before I get out of here. I ain't going nowhere. And even when all my contemporaries line up to get that hoodie, whoever got the next hoodie coming out, I'm going to be here doing what I do. Standing on business. I do not, gang, me and Lord Challz, we do not fold. I'll tell you, I'll have one follower. I do not fold on hip hop. I do not. A lot of these people are not doing this stuff for hip hop. They're not doing content strictly for the culture. I do this as much as people hate to believe it. Right? I know I pissed What's the Dirt off. He went and responded because me and What's the Dirt had a back and forth, and his response to my response, because I did a whole video, gang, and I'm really different, gang. They can't recreate this violence. When I'm on one, I got on What's the Dirt's ass. And he saw that video and he came with a response. It was only like 30 seconds. He was like, "This holier than thou. You guys are claiming the culture and hip hop." He went on a little tangent. because I'm so hip hop orientated. I do not bend on it. And they're not used to that. They're used to folding and bending and trying to go with the tide. I don't. And sometimes the tide is not going. Listen, like I told you, the tide ain't going to talk Kanye news no more. The tide ain't going to talk about J. Cole, the dumb shit he's done. You're supposed to be past all that. And the time really, let's be honest, they trying to say the time for talking about Drake is over. I told you in the beginning of the video, Jay Robach said, yeah, your hate videos it's dwindling down. Your content ain't getting the numbers you thought it used to get, right? He basically saying, yeah, all that hating was good for business last year. Now that this dropped, you guys are finishing cook. But guess what? It don't matter what the videos do. I'm going to call out dumb shit. And this guy's still doing a lot of silly shit, like saying, what's up with his hair when Jay-Z came on and did that performance. And Maul told us that he said it. That's dumb shit to me. Instead of looking at the man getting up there, he tore all of y'all up in a 3-minute freestyle. And all of you guys are talking about he got a lace front, right? You got, so how can he comb them braids out that fast? It's a whole lot of nonsense. And none of it's hip hop. So if I'm going to be here, I'm going to be talking hip hop. Can't nobody stand in front of me and tell me what I'm saying is wrong. They can tell me they don't like it. They can tell me that they love that artist so much that they want me to leave them alone. But you can't tell me that I'm wrong in regards to hip hop. I don't talk about shit from the industry's viewpoint. I talk about it from hip hop. I came at Jay a few weeks ago, right? I came at Jay about that, talking about battling is dead and breakdancing dead, DJ's dead. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I came at Jay so bad they thought I was a Jay hater. I was a hater, gang. Some of my biggest posts in 2026 were those anti-comments, those Jay comments. I was anti-Jay, not him, but the comments. And those are some of my biggest. People came at me from all over the globe because I wasn't having. I said, listen, I'm a Jay-Z guy. That's my guy. All that, this, that, and the third. But you're not bigger than hip-hop itself. Nobody's bigger than the program. So even you, Jay, even you, right? I went at LaRussell. I went at a lot of people this year because contrary to popular belief, I stand on business. I do not bend or fold. Not in hip-hop. I'm not going to make excuses for you when you're wrong. And some people like that. Some people don't. It is what it is. Listen, man, I'm going to get out of here, man. Listen, criticism is not hate. I need that to be the motto. I need that to be the theme, gang. Criticism is not hate. I came for Jay's neck really seriously, but I always preferenced it with, you're my guy, Hov, but I'm not going to let you disrespect hip-hop talking about breaking's dead, DJing's dead, battling's dead. No, we're not doing that. And it was all for the name of Drake. So, no, we're not doing that, big homie. And when he came back with this freestyle, I applauded him. I said, this is what we was talking about. We needed. He came right back battling, ironically. I said, they cloned Tyrone, but we got him back. All right? So, listen. Being it me, if they calling me a hater and they making hit pieces on me or not, don't matter. I'm gonna be here. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to always talk about hip hop. And when Kanye do something stupid for hip hop, I'm gonna be there. J. Cole do something stupid against hip hop, I'm gonna be there. Drake don't. I ain't got to worry about that. He do it every day without even think about it. So I'm gonna be there. Okay. And these videos, they do what they do because people like the content, but at the same time, even when they don't like what I'm talking about, I'm usually going to still be right. I'm still going to be talking about something for the culture. I'm not going to let them destroy the word culture. They're not going to destroy the word woke on my watch. They're not going to destroy none of the words that we hold dear. Because at the end of the day, those are our words, and they're trying to flip them around and make them bad. So that's all I got, gang. Listen, if I'm a hater, I'm the biggest hater. I'm gonna be the biggest hater, gang. Because if hating on you got to keep hip hop right, then I'm a hating ass nigga. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Listen, head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. Right? They ship all over the continental US. Every Wednesday night, I go live on the What Show, me, TJ, and Flares, 9:15, 9:30, all by social media platforms. Unless I'm on Culture United with Company, man. I just left there. I was on there this Wednesday. I just went there. Go watch that video. I got a Patreon, Charles Brown Patreon. You can sign up for that for free. I do put some content on there for subscribers, but for the most part, Patreon is free. I got over 200 something members over there. Go lock in, tap in over there. Got a video, Peanut Butter Tim's, me, TJ, and Flares. Go lock in. I just did a dope ass video today. It's my first interview video. I told you I'm gonna start doing interviews. We got a lot of goofies with a check doing interviews. This, that, and the third. So I did my first interview today with TJ Swords. It's called Legendary. It's called Challz's Legendary Interviews. I'm going to start interviewing people that I like, and I'm going to start interviewing artists. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. I already talked to my homie Craig G from the Juice Crew, the Symphony. He wrote all the raps in 8 Mile, all the battle verses. Craig G wrote those raps for them to rap to. All that stuff with what's homeboy's name? Clarence. Got some really good parents, right? All that shit. He wrote some of those raps. So end of the day, man, my interview is just gonna get bigger and bigger. That's the first one, but I'm lining up some shit where it's gonna be must see TV. My interview is gonna be a problem too. So check that interview out. You get to see the first interview before all the other ones come. And I got a morning show now. I don't know who doesn't know this yet, but I got a morning show, weekday mornings, every weekday morning, Monday through Friday. I started it. I did the whole week last week. It's called This, That, and the Third morning show. I did 5 days already. I'm off Saturday, Sunday. If I am in town this week, I'm gonna be right back with the 5 days, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Lock in, watch the morning show. All right. So it's growing, it's getting there, it's starting to look good, and we having a good time over there, gang. So lock in on the This, That, and the Third right on this channel. All right, and I got a lot more surprise, gang. I am not done. I do not like who they put as #1 media this year on Complex. It really went up my back. I'm like, how the hell you choose academics who hold position in media is to destroy fucking hip hop and destroy people in hip hop. That's all he does all single day, every single day and night. Him and that dude over there at Academics TV, the Grand Wizard chat guy. So we can't have them as representing hip hop no more, okay? So somebody got to step up and outwork these guys, and that's going to be me. I'm going to be one of them. And it's a lot of other people doing their job, Quality and Big Zoe and a lot of other people doing what they do too, okay? So I appreciate you guys locking in, and we're going to keep fighting this fight for hip hop, all right? And listen, man, I'm out of here, man. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip. I appreciate you guys locking in. And all I got right now for you is